Welcome back to the Drive Home Reviews podcast, where I review the movies that I have just seen as I'm driving home from the theater. And folks, it's amazing to me. No matter how long I've been doing this, no matter how many movies I see, it's amazing how films will always find new ways of disappointing you. It's crazy to me. Like, I thought I had seen every way I could be disappointed in a movie. And yet, this one is, I gotta say, even if it's not new to me, it's been a while. So, I have heard nothing but bad things about this movie, about the ridiculous plot, the twists and turns, and all of this. You know, I've seen numerous people online just going off on this film, and, you know, I'm a fairly jolly person normally, but even I have my down times. You know, it's the holidays, you're trying not to think about certain things and certain people, and you just need an outlet for anger. So, you see this film that has, I think, a 28% on whatever bullshit mass criticism website is apparently very important. You've heard all these things, and you're just like, oh, I think this movie is just what the doctor ordered. So, you get all snuggled up in grandma's homemade quilt, you make yourself a nice big bucket of popcorn, and you've got your nice warm kitty on your lap, the lights are down, the fireplace is going, and you cue up this movie ready to make it the target for all the pent-up vitriol and venom and anger that you keep pushed way, way, way down in your tummy. And it's not that bad. Seriously, it's not a bad movie. But now here's the thing. It's only not a bad movie if you're watching it correctly. I understand why people have been railing against this movie. I understand why people have been doing whole videos on TikTok and whatnot about the convoluted nature of this plot and the ridiculous nature of it. I get it. So, just for argument's sake, let's go back and let's talk about this plot, because, oh boy, oh my god, okay. So, I'm going to try to lay this out as clearly as I can. So try your best to follow along with me on this. So, our story begins in the long, long ago, the before time, the distant year of 2007. And yes, let's try not to focus too much on the fact that people born in 2007 are teenagers now. Hell, I'm teaching most of them. But however, I digress. This is not about how old I feel. So we meet a group of 4 friends. First of all, there is Megan's creator, Allison Williams, who I keep wanting to call Gemma from Megan, because that's all I think of when I see her. Am I the only one who thinks she looks vaguely like Lake Bell? Am I the only one? I keep expecting her to break out into lines from Children's Hospital. Again, however I digress. So you have Lake Bell. She's going to be our main character. You have her sister, Jenny McFree Spirit. So much of a free spirit that when we first meet her, she's wearing like this beaded thing around her head that when we first did shots of them, I wasn't entirely sure what era this movie was supposed to be taking place in. I was like, are we in the 70s? Is she a hippie? What's happening here? No, she's just, la-di-da, free spirit, blah, blah, blah. So that's her sister. Her sister has a boyfriend, Glasses McHandsome, all right? And Gemma has a boyfriend, Charlie McLunkhead, all right? So you get the pairing here. You've got Megan's mom, Charlie McLunkhead, they're a couple, and you've got her sister, Jenny McFreespirit, and Glasses McHandsome, they're a couple, all right? You get that? But it is painfully obvious that Glasses McHandsome has the hots for Megan's mom, all right? It could not, you would have to be blind to not see this. I am notorious for not being able to pick up on signals, all right? And even I could see this. The guy's about as subtle as the 429 bus slamming into that chick from Final Destination, all right? Speaking of Final Destination, anyway, so at this beach party, which is their graduation, Megan's mom reveals that she is pregnant. So we flash forward 17 years. So Megan's mom and Charlie McLunkhead are married. They have a daughter played by McKenna Grace. You see, I'm getting too many of the mix going on here. McKenna Grace. And they have a pretty happy little family life. Of course, Megan's mom is a stay-at-home mom, and she's pretty happy with her lot in life, but she dreamed of more, and her daughter's getting ready to graduate, and she's trying to figure out who she's gonna be, that kind of thing. Also, we find out that Jenny McFreespirit and Glasses McHandsome have had a baby. That Glasses McHandsome disappeared. He went away for a while. I guess he went to war. I don't know. He's come back. He knocked up Jenny McFreespirit, and now they have a baby together. Okay, everybody following along so far? Because this gets more convoluted. Okay, hold on to your socks. So it seems like we have a nice couple families and friends and la-da-da-da-da-da-da. You can still tell that Glasses McHandsome, despite the fact having knocked up Jenny McFreespirit, is still in love with Megan's mom. Again, very clear. So they're going about their daily business of being suburbanites, and then Megan's mom gets a call. And there was a car accident, and Charlie McLunkhead is dead. And at the hospital, who should show up but Glasses McHandsome, because he also got a phone call saying that Jenny McFreespirit is dead. Lo and behold, they were in the car together because they were having a years-long affair. Okay. All right. Now we're juicing up. So now, Megan's mom is trying to deal with the loss of not just her husband and her sister, but the fact that her husband was nailing her sister for years, possibly decades, behind her back. Meanwhile, Glasses McHandsome is dealing with the fact he doesn't think that his newborn son is actually his, but also dealing with the fact that he now sees an open door to go after Megan's mom. So all of this is going on. So meanwhile, now keep in mind, that's the B plot. That is the B plot. The main focus of the story is McKenna Grace, as the daughter, niece, the person in the middle of this this massive Jerry Springer wet dream of an episode. So she's trying to deal, though. She doesn't know about the affair, so she's just trying to deal with the loss of her father, her favorite aunt, the fact that her mother is acting really strange, more so than just going through mourning. And while that's happening, she is dating Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon, who is apparently the town bad boy, but he's not actually a bad boy. Everybody just thinks he's a bad boy because his father was a drug dealer and is in prison, but he's actually like the perfect boyfriend.
My two favorite things are commitment and changing myself.
Does that dummy have a brother?
And of course, he wants to go to film school because of course he does, and McKenna Grace wants to go to drama school because of course she does, and of course her mom doesn't want her to do that, and it's all of this. So while mother and daughter are dealing with all of these feelings, the fracture in their relationship, the loss of innocence, of course there's this romance that mom doesn't approve of, and she keeps thinking that they are doing things or getting into trouble. It's all just this big ball of, drama. Okay? So as you can tell, this plot is fucking ridiculous. It is fucking just insane. And I understand why so many people are really hating this movie and just going off on this story and the interconnections and the twisted, logic of it all. I get it. But to those people, I'm going to offer you a theory. Just a theory. I think you're watching it wrong. Ironically, in the film, Megan's mom is constantly watching Real Housewife shows. That's her morning show. We all have a morning show or a depression show. And that's hers. And ironically, I think that is an excellent metaphor for this. You can't watch this like the Real Housewives. You can't watch this and take it seriously. Like, you can't actually go by what they say. Don't you see? You're going to end up like them. You got to watch this like you're watching Power Rangers, or better yet, Baywatch. Baywatch, for those who never experienced it, is one of the hokiest, stupidest, most up its own ass shows of all time. You watch this and you say to yourself, how can anyone take this seriously? And you can't. You can't watch it and take it seriously. But the fun part is that everybody in the show, everybody involved with the show, is taking it 100% seriously. And because they are, it makes it even more fucking entertaining. Do you see what I'm getting at? You can't come at this movie and watch it like you're watching a serious film. Yes, the author thinks it's serious, the director thinks it's serious, all of the actors think it's serious, but as I've said in my review of The Naked Gun, the best comedies are the ones where the people involved are treating it like it's an actual thing, like they're treating it like it is a cop drama. And if you watch it from that perspective, this film is fucking amazing. Like, it really is. The hokiness, the melodrama, the over-the-top plot twist. You know what this movie feels like, what it actually feels like to me? This feels like a teen melodrama show that has been stretched out into one feature-length film. So don't come at this movie like you're actually trying to watch something serious, like you're trying to watch a real movie. You gotta come at this like you would if you were a fan of 90210, The OC, One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek, Gossip Girl, Gilmore Girls. Vampire Diaries, The Summer I Turned Pretty, Riverdale. You know, you got to think of it from that perspective. Seventh Heaven, that's another one. You got to come at it from that perspective, because every plot point in this fucking movie feels like it could be either a commercial break, an episode cliffhanger, or a season finale cliffhanger to any one of those shows. What? It turns out that my girlfriend and your husband are best friends. We're having a decades-long affair behind our backs.
An all-new Dawson's Creek.
What's that you say, Classics McHandsome? It turns out that you think your newborn son is not actually yours, but is actually Charlie McLunkhead's?
An all-new One Tree Hill.
What's that, McKenna Grace? The guy that you have been crushing on for years and has been going back and forth with his on-again, off-again girlfriend has finally broken up with her, and now you have a clear path at him?
Gossip Girl, all new next Monday at 8/7 Central.
What's this, Glasses McHandsome? You now have the perfect opportunity to tell Megan's mom that you have always been in love with her. Oh no, and the first time you kiss is when McKenna Grace, who has no knowledge of any of this drama, comes walking in on the two of you?
OC. Season premiere November 2nd.
Look out, Megan's mom! Don't knock on that door to McKenna Grace's bedroom, because little do you know, she invited Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon over to have sex with her, but then it's very unclear as to whether they actually did or didn't. I think they did. But then she has a breakdown and he agrees to stay there and hold her, and you're going to break in thinking that they spent the entire night making hot, passionate love, and there's another misunderstanding?
An all-new Gilmore Girls.
Oh no! It turns out that all this time, McKenna Grace thought it was her fault that her favorite aunt and father died, because she was texting her aunt at the moment of death and thought that she was driving and didn't know her dad was driving. But now she knows the truth and she understands that she's not to blame.
Catch Party of 5 on its new night, Wednesday after 9:0210.
You see? You see how this works? If you watch it from this perspective, then this movie is fucking amazing. It is a lot of fun. And I think I was just coming at it from the right angle, because I was coming at it with the expectation of ripping it apart and knowing what it was going to do. I think I was since I wasn't coming at it trying to watch it seriously, I actually had a pretty good time with this. And like I said, the main point, the main thing that makes it work for me is that, yes, everybody involved is playing this 100% serious. They're not overacting. They're not pushing the melodrama. They are acting their guts out in this ridiculous fucking story. 3 seasons of the OC crammed into just under 2 hours. And they are going for it. I have to give special credit to McKenna Grace and Mason Thomas, Hiccup from How I Trained Your Dragon, because they are really doing a great job. McKenna Grace is a really, really compelling performer. She has a lot of talent, and it's amazing. As I was watching this is like the closest to like a real teenager I've seen her play. You know, in the vastness of everything she's played, you know, from the brilliant girl in The Gifted and on Young Sheldon, you know, Phoebe from the 2 new Ghostbusters movies, among various younger versions of other people like Tanya Harding and Carol Danvers. This is like the closest to an actual teenager I've ever seen her play. And she does it really well. And Mason Thomas, he has a very fine line he has to walk, because he has to be kind of every teenage girl's modern day non-toxic love interest, and be just dangerous enough that you can see why this person would go with them, knowing it's going to make their mom crazy, but also non-threatening enough that you want her to, end up with him. I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, I've watched a lot of movie from book adaptations where the red flags are just flying like you're at a semaphore conference. And honestly, of all those guys, this is the one you would want to bring home to mom. He's actually a nice guy. He's fairly charming. He actually cares about her. He's hokey enough, but solid enough. I like that he does kind of get into fights, but then will almost immediately back down when she says sorry, and he's like, yeah, I said some things too. Yeah, they don't drag it out. I actually do appreciate that. And as I've said, for the material that they're given and the material that they have to work with, they are playing it, and they are playing it straight. Again, if you looked at these characters and were trying to judge them as actual characters, yes, these are the most shallow, one-note, going through your standard rebellious teenager falling for the hunky dreamboat. It's all very, very pat, but that's okay. Stock characters can be helpful. You know who the best actor in this is? You know who my favorite actor in this? And it kind of encapsulates how you need to watch this movie. So, as I said at the beginning, Jenny McFreespirit and Glasses McHandsome, they have a baby, right? And this baby is the most adorable fucking baby. And he's a happy baby. I don't know if they just kind of caught him at all the right takes, but he's always smiling. He's got this big old grin. He's having a great time. They do the scene at the hospital, right, where they're finding out that these two people are dead. And they're supposed to be having these huge dramatic reactions, and the music is swelling, and they're doing the, oh no, oh, da, da, da. And Glasses McHandsome is carrying the baby, and he sinks to the floor, and he looks over at his child, the new spark of life, the new world that he had created with Jenny McDreamboat, and it's now all violently ripped away, and that baby is just smiling, just looking at him and smiling the biggest fucking smile you could ever imagine. It reminds me, I don't know how many people will get this reference, but there was this movie a couple years back. I think it's called The Other Side of the Mountain, or Coming Down the Mountain, or whatever, but it had Idris Elba and Kate Winslet as these two people who survive a plane crash on a mountain, and they're trying to, get down it and stay alive, and they have a dog with them. And there's this one scene I will never forget where they're walking in the snow, and they're so tired, and they're so cold. We're gonna die. Oh, it's so sad. And that dog is just bounding along, going snow, 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 snow. He's having the time of his life. And that reaction from that baby, give that kid the Oscar right now for Best Supporting Actor. I believe that. I'll campaign for it. But that kid encapsulates how you need to watch this movie. You've got to laugh at the sheer melodrama, the sheer overdoneness of it all. Is overdoneness even a word? It is now, Noah fucking Webster. I just precedented it. You've got to just take it all with a, you got to take it all with a soup spoon of salt, and just sit back and relax and enjoy the corniness of this. And if you do that, then this movie's actually very enjoyable. Everybody's giving it their all. Everybody is working hard. It's a very pretty movie. You know, the people in it are all very pretty. It's shot very pretty. You know, it's actually kind of a nice little movie if you're not taking it seriously. And I know that that's a backhanded comment. I understand. It's kind of like an Ed Wood movie. You know, Ed Wood made all of these movies that he believed in and that he wanted just to tell a story and to make a movie and do all this. And I mean, he did. And they're remembered. People remember his films. They remember him as some of the worst schlock ever made. So, not maybe being remembered in the way you want to be, but still. So I urge everybody who has watched this movie to go back and rewatch it with that in mind. Go in and watch it like you're watching your favorite trash teen drama from the CW. And I think if you watch it from that perspective, you'll actually enjoy it and respect it a little bit more. And anybody who's going to come to this movie, again, do not come at this and expect it to make sense or to be logical or, you know, I gotta say, I think my biggest complaint about this film is I didn't go far enough. I was waiting to find out that McKenna Grace was actually the child of Megan's mom and Glasses McHandsome. I was waiting to find out that years later they had actually cheated on their respective spouses with each other, and that's where McKenna Grace came from. I was waiting. They did not do that. That's my biggest disappointment in this movie, is that they didn't go far enough. But all that being said, I actually had a good time watching this. I think everybody was giving it their all. Everybody believed in the project. I don't think it came out the way they were hoping. But it's a fun, warm little movie if you're watching it from that perspective. If you're not, then you're not going to enjoy it. And I understand if you don't enjoy it. I get it. Some people just can't. Everybody has their bridge too far. You can't quite, can't quite turn your brain off, can't suspend your disbelief. Everybody has that thing that they just can't do. So I get it. If you hated this movie and you think it's the stupidest thing ever, I cannot blame you. I will say that I think if you come at it from the right angle, this movie can actually be a lot of fun and you can actually enjoy it. But if you can't, I get that too. Bear in mind, I am not saying that taken at face value, it's a good movie. If you're taking it at face value, yeah, it is asinine. But I love a lot of asinine things. I should have that on a t-shirt. Or maybe not. That might send the wrong message. Well, not wrong, just wrong for me. But anyway, so I don't know what else to say about this movie other than this is the last thing I'll say before we get to the final grade. Just a note to people writing books or movies, titles are important. Having a good title is very, very important. And I know it's hard finding the right title that sounds really good and gives just a hint of what's going on and sticks in the mind. I get that. It's rough. But I would avoid naming your projects things like Regretting You, because you are just doing the critic's job for them. And I've already seen it happen. I've already seen, regretting watching this movie. I do regret you. You're just making their job easier on them. Naming something like I love this book. This is the greatest movie ever. Do something like that. Try to spin it in your favor. But yeah, that's the only other thing I can say about this. So, let's wrap this up. So final grade for Regretting You. I'm giving it a solid B. I'm giving it a solid B. And I know there are people right now ripping their hair out that I rated Nuremberg so low, but I'm giving this movie a huge pass. Well, yeah, I am. So it's my opinion. Take it or leave it. But again, I advise you, watch this movie, but watch it like you're watching the season finale or series finale of your favorite teen drama. You take it from that angle, I think you'll enjoy it. If not, yeah, you're gonna hate this. But I watched it, I enjoyed it. So yeah, give it a shot. Okay, so that's all I've got to say on that one. So thank you for coming along with me. Thanks for listening. Hope everyone's doing well. And as always, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.